Hello folks, and welcome to Noob-Splaining. My name is Wolf. Now this channel is all about teaching those that know nothing or very little about 40k what this crazy over-the-top world is all about. And for those of you who are like me and more seasoned in 40k, it's where we get to poke fun at the absolute absurdity of it all. So, settle in, grab a drink, and prepare for a Noob-Splaining session. So in this video, I'm going to give you my hot take on who I think are the top 3 most dangerous Primarchs of the 9 Loyalist legions. So as this channel is aimed at those completely new, let's have a quick rundown of what is a Primarch and who our 9 contenders are. So firstly, Primarch is a discount fashion retailer found pretty much worldwide and is often the butt of jokes due to the items they sell being ridiculously cheap and notoriously low quality. Wait a minute! Victor! Wrong type of Primarch, you muppet! So, looks like I need to ad-lib this bit. In the far distant future, around the year 30,000, Emperor Chris decided it was time to retake the galaxy in the name of mankind for what feels like the 37th time. To do this, he raised 20 powerful legions of genetically enhanced super soldiers called the Astartes, and these hulking brutes made Captain America look small and weak. To lead these legions, he created from the ground up 21 genetic beings, using parts of his own DNA, parts of others' DNA, and some aspects of the war, which is basically 40k space magic. These beings were called the Primarchs, and each had a special skill. The astute among you will notice I said 20 legions, yet 21 Primarchs. That's because the 20th Legion's Primarch are actually twins, Alpharius and Omegon. Omegon is not known about in-universe. He is a massive in-universe secret that us the audience need to be aware of. So when I hear a so-called professional YouTuber say 20 Primarchs, I absolutely lose my shit. Bloody amateurs. Anyway, the Chaos Gods didn't like the idea of these fully grown Primarchs running around the galaxy, so they yeeted them across the galaxy while they were all babies, causing Emperor Chris to leave his palace to play Find the Primarch. Which he did, with the exception of 2 of them. Mostly. I'll cover that another time. Now, seeing as yeeting the baby Primarchs didn't work out so well for the forces of Chaos, because it turns out Emperor Chris is very good at playing Find the Primarch, which makes me wonder, if he could find my self-esteem. Anyway, the forces of Chaos needed a plan B, so they went about corrupting as many of the legions as possible, and this resulted in 9 staying loyal, 9 turning traitor, and 2 being cancelled, as they wouldn't spread the message. That was back in the year 30,000. And 10,000 years later, most of the Primarchs are MIA from the setting. Now, it is those 9 Loyalist Primarchs we'll be looking at in this video, and we'll then be picking the top 3 that I feel are the most dangerous. Those of you who are more seasoned in 40k might want to skip straight to the top 3, but I think you'll like my descriptions of the Primarchs. So, in Legion order, we have the First Legion, the Dark Angels, and their Primarch, Lionel Johnson. The Lion, as he is known, is currently back in the setting, and being the first and oldest of the Primarchs, he has a bit of a chip on his shoulder in that he has to be the one to set the example for all his little brothers. He took this to the extreme when he blew up his own world and then went for a 10,000 year nap to sleep it off, but now he's back and has learnt how to teleport anywhere, which is pretty handy really. Next up is the 5th Legion, the White Scars, and their Primarch, Jagatai Khan. He is a hunter, possibly the apex hunter, and he is also really, really fast, to the point he makes the Flash look like a drunk old man. If he was around on Earth right now, you know he would be riding a Suzuki Hayabusa that had an even bigger turbo strapped to it, and he would still think it's slow. Then we have the 6th Legion, the Space Wolves, and their Primarch, Layman Russ. Layman is Emperor Chris's executioner and holds no disillusions about what he is or what his job is. His brothers think he is a savage, unthinking barbarian who fights first and doesn't bother asking questions as everyone is dead. Russ, however, doesn't give a flying crap what his brothers think about him and plans very carefully the best way to take down an enemy, then charges in and murders everything. Now it's the 7th Legion, the Imperial Fists, and their Primarch, Rogel Dawn. Although their name indicates that they are the fist of the Imperium, they are more accurately the shield. When Rogel Dawn defends somewhere, you're not getting in there unless he wants you to, and it's going to cost you a hefty price in blood to get in. It is said that if Rogel builds a sandcastle, not even the tide can wash it away. Known for his calm demeanour and stoicism, the only way he could be any more stoic was if he was an actual statue. Moving on, we have the 9th Legion, the Blood Angels, and their Primarch Sanguinius. Unlike everyone else with a mutation in the 40k universe, Sanguinius is an exception, because she wasn't instantly shot on sight. His mutation is the 2 massive angel wings that are not easy to hide, but because he is such a nice guy, he was given a mutation pass. All his brother Primarchs absolutely love him to bits, and he really does care for his legionnaires, feeling true sorrow whenever one dies. Oh, he also just happens to be a space vampire too. Unlucky for some is the 13th Legion, the Ultramarines and their Primarch Rabute Guilliman, who is also back in the current setting. When I say unlucky, the Ultramarines are fucking boring. Guilliman is famous for writing the Codex Astartes, which is the combat doctrine of how to Space Marine 101. He didn't develop those doctrines though, he merely improved upon what the Dark Angels have already created. Guilliman's special skill is he is really fucking good at organising logistics. If you're going to take this man out on a night out, bring some train timetables and ask him to find you the most efficient route from A to B and he will fucking love you for it. Being in war with the Ultramarines at your side means you will never run out of food, water, ammunition or fire support. What you won't have though is any fun. Boring bastards. Second to last in numerical is the 18th Legion, the Salamanders, and their Primarch Vulcan. Vulcan is loved by everyone, as he loves humanity to pieces. He wants nothing more than an end to the fighting and mankind to live in peace forever and ever, after constantly giving each other hugs and kind words and encouragement. And the best way to achieve this is murder everything that isn't human with a big fucking spear backed up with war crimes levels of weaponry. His skin, and his Legion's skin, is also coal black, but as they are also nice guys like Sanguinius, they were also given a mutation pass. But let's be fair, coal black skin is hardly high on the mutation list compared to a bloody massive pair of angel wings. And last on our Loyalist list, by no means the least, is the 19th Legion, the Raven Guard, and their Primarch, Corvus Corax. Corvus and his Legion prefer hit and run tactics, and they're also very sneaky, preferring stealth over firepower. But don't let that fool you. When they need to bring out the big guns, you know these boys can dish out just as hard as any of the other legions. Corvus has 2 special skills. The first is you just don't notice him, almost like he's invisible, but not quite. He's still there, but for some reason your brain just can't comprehend it, so it filters him out of your perception. Some of his legionaries can do this too, quite handy. His other special skill is getting all angry and turning into a giant demon raven thing and murdering all the bad guys. Think Batman on space steroids and PCP, then cross with John Wick, and then cross with Edward Scissorhands. So with that reminder to who is who for the Loyalist Primarchs, let's get on with the top 3 most dangerous Primarchs, my opinion only. But it is my channel, so I'm always right, and you can either agree with me in the comments and make suggestions that might change my mind. Spoiler alert, they probably won't, but hey, give it a try. So, number 3 on my most dangerous Loyalist Primarch list is... I'm giving this spot to... Rogel Dawn, for a few reasons. He prefers to build than destroy, but my god, when he turns his mind to destruction, very few legions can match his ability. He is built like a fucking unit, and hits like a freight train. One of the most physically imposing of the Primarchs by far. He pretty much once slapped Nathaniel Garrow and Astartes out of his socks and into next week for daring to say that Horus had turned traitor. When it turned out Horus had turned traitor, Rogel didn't even apologise to poor old Nathaniel. That's cold. Now, although he is depicted as calm and stoic, it's just a front. Underneath that is a bubbling mass of pure anger, hatred and sheer bloodied mind of violence that occasionally gets let out of the bottle, and when it does, his enemies know about it. And just to atone for the defeat in his eyes on Terra, he's let his legion get pretty much fucked up by Perturabo and the Iron Warriors. If that doesn't show a level of dangerous, I don't know what does. In short, when this man loses his shit, you can guarantee everyone on the wrong side is going to lose a hell of a lot more. And in the number 2 spot, Lion L. Johnson. A duelist so good, he beat a Primarch who can see into the future. A Primarch so awesome, he can teleport everywhere and take people with him. A son so loyal, his favourite phrase is loyalty is its own reward. When he thought some of his own men had turned traitor, he just killed a planet, his own planet. That's how much he puts stock into loyalty, and if you're willing to do that, you have to be dangerous. The first of all of them, and the greatest of all the tacticians. Yes, I admit his ability to spot social cues is somewhat lacking, but if you want to execute something, it's a very public, grisly display as a warning to others. When you exterminate something, you just get on with it. That's the Lion's job, to exterminate. And as a result, that is why I put him in the number 2 spot. So, before we move on, I have 2 honourable mentions. Firstly, Corvus Corax, in his current form as the big demon raven thing, is, at the moment, the apex hunter, and enough to make any greater demon or demon prince very, very fucking nervous. His downside, however, is he's hunting single targets. Secondly, it's none other than arguably one of the most popular Primarchs out there, Sanguinius. And yes, this is where all the Hawkboy fans grab their pitchforks and go rushing into the comments section. Alright, hear me out. Yes, Sanguinius murdered more greater demons in the Emperor's Palace than everyone else put together, probably. Yes, he is the best overall with all types of melee weapons, but that's an aggregate score. He's not the best with each individual weapon, and his biggest strength is also his biggest weakness, that being his wings. Clip his wings and he can't fight anywhere near as good. All the other Primarchs don't have wings, thus they have to rely on actual combat and not zipping around like a swooping hawk exarch that's on its 16th can of Red Bull. So, at this point it must be pretty obvious by now who goes into the top spot. The most dangerous Primarch, in my opinion, is Leman Russ. Many people think Leman Russ is nothing but a frenzied berserker, but this could not be further from the truth. Yes, he's very quick to anger, but he controls and focuses his anger and wields it like a weapon against his enemy. He doesn't let his anger control him like Angron, or lose control like Dawn when he bitch-slapped Garrett across the bridge. He is very calculated and can see the weak spots in an opponent's defence very quickly and then exploit it very, very violently. He knows exactly what his role is, that of Emperor Chrysa's personal executioner, and like I said, an execution is a grisly, barbaric, public display of Emperor Chrysa's displeasure for others to witness and learn from, and nobody pulls it off like Leman Russ and his wolves. Leman is a fucking psychopath, and that doesn't mean what you think it does thanks to Hollywood ruining the definition of psychopath. The best way I can put it is psychopaths carry a grudge for all time, and if they promise to kill you, one day they will. A psychotic will just lash out with pure violence. A psychopath will bide their time. The reason Horus lowered his shields during the Siege of Terra wasn't because the Iron Warriors had got bored and hooked off home, or that the Emperor's children were busy making the population of Earth into space coke. At this point, the palace defences were nearly overrun, and the palace itself was full of demons. It wasn't the imminent arrival of Rabute and what was left of the Ultramarines either, as Horus knew they were not going to get through the warp storms in time. No, it was the fact Leman was nearly healed from round 1 with Horus and was on his way for round 2, and by the time he would get to Terra he would be healed and be angry on a whole other level, and Leman focuses his anger as a weapon and controls it, not the other way around. Remember, Leman is a psychopath, and at this point he has promised to kill every single one of his traitorous brothers. Admittedly, none of his traitorous brothers claim they are afraid of Leman, but they're also not stupid. If Leman is knocking on the front door, you can bet they've already run out the back door and are in the getaway vehicle gunning the throttle. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why I think Leman Russ is the most dangerous of the Loyalist Primarchs. People may say they're not scared of him, but they still run to the hills when he shows up. So this is the point where you get to take to the comments and call me stupid, and make for some arguments for and against my choices, and I would love to hear them all. But it's shameless plug time. To help me keep the content coming, if you can spare some money, please click the link below. If you can't, then a like, subscribe, but most importantly, show this video to someone else who could do with some noob-splaining in their life. Also, don't forget to join the new Discord. I will see you in there. Until the next video though, take care of yourself folks.